Hello, hello, good morning, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. Here we are connecting once again through headlines and stories and questions and all kinds of things that are important to us. Of course, we're talking about headlines from our city, our state, and our country, and we're talking about your questions about what's going on in Puerto Vallarta, what things to do, what things to avoid, how to get the most out of our precious time living here as a community of English-speaking locals. As always, it is a pleasure to see you. Today is no exception. Today is January 12th. Oh, I should get money out to pay for my rent, which comes up on the 15th. I'm so glad I look at the dates. If you are watching this morning live for the first time, please let us know. We'd love to give you a nice little welcome. And yes, to broadcast a lecture in Spanish, please. Luisa would like for the lecture to be recorded and broadcast. Okay, I'm getting all over the place as usual, but check it out. Luisa put a capital letter Q at the beginning of her comment, which means that it was something she wanted to share with everyone, and we did. Yay. So that's the deal. If you're new, feel free to let us know by writing the word new. If you have something really important that you wish to share, a capital letter Q will put your make your comments stand out. Today we have news about new buses in the city. We have news about nepotism news. How is that for a Thursday? I gotta love it. And we have, yes, boom, boom. And we have news about COVID, which we don't like to share, but it is important to know. And we have a couple of events that we wish to let you know about, and some tips on how to manage your relationship with raccoons. Our friend Roberto Ornelas, local biologist, came to the rescue, and he shared some interesting tips that we would like to share with you if you have raccoons hanging out in your backyard. Before we go there, well, let's Nepo news. Dave gets in the spirit by calling them Nepo news. I love it. Yeah, that's precisely what we're going to have today. Nepotism news by way of our beloved City Hall. Let's get started. Well, before the Nepo news, let us take a look at these. Look at these brand new red buses that have arrived in Puerto Vallarta, all 25 of them. These have arrived to address the increasing need for transportation, and an additional 10 units are expected to arrive this coming week. These new red buses are part of a pilot program that the city is implementing in one route, the Ixtapa Centro route, which means that if you need to get anywhere down Francisco Medina, Asensio, the hotel zone, et cetera, you will be able to get on board these new buses. The pilot program serves a purpose to analyze their viability in our city. I took a look at some photos inside the buses, and they look rather comfy. I don't know if they will have air conditioning or not. But what is most interesting to me about this news item is that for the first time in many years, a new transportation company is mentioned in the article. These buses are here because of a company called Transporte Unido Costa Pacífico. Could this mean that the city and state are finally fed up with Unibus PB, the company that has been providing our public transportation service for quite some years? Well, we don't have an answer for that one, but apparently 25 additional units from this brand new company are expected to be brought in by the end of March. So we could be looking at the bye-bye of Unibus PB, a company that seemed to excel at promising things. And when it came down to the delivery, well, maybe not so much. And now, some Nepo news. I'm going to stick to that one. Remember City Council member Maria Elena Curiel Preciado, who last year had practically her entire family in the city payroll? Last year, her three sons, a daughter-in-law, and her spouse were all removed from the city payroll, and she even admitted to it being a case of nepotism. I remember one of her statements said something along the lines of, well, I worked on the campaign. That's how she defended herself. Well, guess what? They are back in the payroll again. All the aforementioned relatives and family members for this lovely lady are back on the payroll. The article that I'm referencing states these facts, but it does not include any reaction from City Hall or from Mayor Michel, who is seen here hugging her. So we're holding our judgment on this one for a minute or two. We'll bring you the follow-up of these Nepo news as we find out more about them. And then there's COVID. On the one hand, I want to worry. On the other hand, I don't want to worry because it may not be time to worry, but I'm going to put it out there just for you to know. According to local health authorities, the COVID-19 positivity rate is back at 25%. In other words, for every 100 people that take the test, 25 are coming back positive. Now, this could be reason to be concerned, or at the same time, it may not be as serious as before. First of all, the article does not indicate how many people are being tested. So we don't know exactly if we're talking about hundreds or thousands of people. And we also know that with home tests being more readily available, there could be different numbers, maybe better numbers or maybe worse numbers. But what we do know is, as we reported yesterday or the day before, there's a lot of respiratory diseases going on out there. And all we can do is to be proactive. There are no guidelines that have been changed or any of that sort. But be mindful of your symptoms, be mindful of your environment and surroundings, and be comforted by the fact that home kits to test for COVID-19 are a lot more easy to find, and getting tested at clinics is a lot easier than before, if that is your choice. So if you get any symptoms, don't wait and isolate and you know the drill. You don't need me to tell you the drill because we've been there before, but this is a good opportunity for us to be proactive. I will say, though, that the municipality of Bahía de Banderas is also reporting an increase, although in Bahía de Banderas, we do find out some specific numbers. They say 43 new cases were reported between December 31 and yesterday. So 43 cases for an entire municipality is a very small number in one hand. On the other hand, it does represent a 34.1% increase in cases when compared to the previous month. So once again, stay on the preventive side if you can, because once we get it, it's not comfortable. And we've been there. Well, some of us have gotten the bug, and we've been there, and it was not pretty. So we know what we need to do to take care of ourselves. Let us take a look at the weather and take it from there. Yay! Oh my gosh. I had nothing to do with the FAA's computer systems going down. And if you were watching the news yesterday, apparently, like the flight navigation system throughout the United States failed. I didn't catch any details about this. I did see some headlines and I heard some friends talking about it. That seems scary, and I hope nothing horrible happened. And I hope that the computers are back to normal north of the border. It is 25 degrees Celsius right now. It feels like 26. Humidity is low, 40%, and our Fahrenheit temperature is 78 degrees. Our weather forecast for today says clear through the day with a high of 29 and a low of 19. And then Friday, clear through the day with a high of 30 and a low of 19. And then Saturday, another clear day with a high of 29 and a low of 18. And now we have a few other things that I want to talk about, starting with the fact that yesterday I treated myself to the Avatar movie. I went to see the Avatar movie with friends, and I am so very happy that I did because because it was totally worth watching it in the large movie theater screen. The story was very engaging. It had its juvenile moments as expected. I mean, it is after all a family picture, but I was very happy, very happy to have seen the film at the VIP theater, which I am now hopelessly spoiled by because the seats are comfortable. I brought my own little blankie, my own little blankie, as I usually do, and of course, in my book, the perfect complement to going to the VIP theater is going across the street to the food truck park where you can get such amazing choices of food. And it is very comfortable this time of year because it's not too hot out there. So if you haven't gone to the theater to see Avatar, it's still playing this week. I don't know if it'll continue to play next week, but it was totally worthwhile. Now, yesterday we talked about the fact that Galeria Dante is having another artist meet and greet tomorrow night, and through the day we found out some great news from our friend Chris from the Secret Wine Bar. They have announced that acoustic guitar player Caleb Cabrera will be performing live once again tomorrow evening starting at 8 p.m. So this is yet another good reason to be in the vicinity of Colonia Emiliano Zapata tomorrow night. You can saunter to the art gallery. You can go and have dinner somewhere. And then after dinner, you can have even more libations at the not so secret wine bar. It's not so secret anymore. It has become an excellent gathering point for great wine and cocktails along with light fare while enjoying good conversations, as in the music is not too loud, and we definitely like that. Moving right along, look at this pretty face. Who could possibly want to hurt a raccoon? As we reported yesterday, the mapaches or raccoons are proliferating in the vicinity of Los Mangos, and some residents have asked for their relocation. But and even others may be taking harsher measures, attempting to poison the animals, which is not nice. Regardless of where you are in this conversation, our dear friend and local biologist Roberto Ornelas, mentioned some non-aggressive strategies that could be put into place to diminish the damages caused by these critters. For starters, he's quick to remind us that raccoons are everywhere throughout the city, and they adapt easily to both natural and urban environments. So it's not like you can relocate them like crocodiles and they stay away. I mean, they like where they are. And but Roberto does indicate that since they go out at night to feed and find food, a possible solution would be to not leave food for other animals such as cats and dogs out during the evenings. A lot of people leave food for stray cats and dogs, which is a very kind thing to do, but that will also attract the raccoons. Another suggestion is to make sure that they don't have access to water. And a third, even more ambitious suggestion, one that would be possible to implement on our own, is for the city to change the time in which trash is collected or to build more raccoon-proof collection um, areas. Last but not least, Roberto reminds us that poisoning animals is not allowed, and people doing this could be punished by law. Moving right along, um, local performer Dwight Blake has reached out to me asking for promotion for an upcoming shindig that will take place on February 3rd at Teatro Vallarta. In his own words, this show, Dwight Blake and Friends, will feature some of Vallarta's renowned powerhouse headliners, both local and internationally acclaimed artists, such as Diana Villamonte, Queen of Soul Music in Puerto Vallarta, also second place winner of The Voice Mexico, Keith Tynes, original member of The Platters, Losana Diaz, who participated in The Voice of Mexico, and Victor the Espiritu, who apparently makes a lovely moon dancer Michael Jackson impersonation, and of course, Dwight Blake. This has tickets starting at 700 pesos per person, and there is a current 20% discount promo code that you can use. I reached out to Dwight to find out whether there is going to be a band performing with these vocalists or whether this will be all done with pre-recorded tracks, and hopefully he will answer that question sometime in the future. Moving right along, we got to hand it to local realtor Ryan Donner and his staff for organizing these ongoing river cleanup events. This is not the first one. You can join Ryan and his friends and his staff, volunteer to help clean up the Rio Quale this coming Sunday, January 29 at 9 a.m. So if you don't mind getting a little dirty and hanging out with some like-minded friends, and you want to do something for your own soul and of course for our environment, this is a great opportunity to lend a helping hand. And now let us move over to your comments just to see what everybody is up to this morning, what kind of questions you have, and we'll take it from there. Lots of good mornings, which we love. Hello, Bill, 2 days in a row. I love it. And Albert, you made it into the city, and Albert had a good time at the Art Walk last night. Remember, Art Walk takes place on Wednesday evenings in El Centro Art Galleries. Boom, pim, boom. Let's see what else we have. I love the Nepo News business, Dave. I think we're holding on to that. Nepo News. Good day to our cluster members anticipating the meeting at Whiskey Kitchen on Friday. My first opportunity. I'm arriving on the 17th for 7 weeks. Yay. Yay. Let's see what else we have. Diane is also looking forward to our meet and greet. I love it. Kathy's still recovering. Kathy, hang in there. It does get better. It does get better. I'll keep my fingers crossed for you. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, David got caught in the airline snafu yesterday. I hope you are at your destination. I really do. How strange that the computers would break down. Let's see what else we have. Lots of conversation. I don't see cues. There's a cue. Any talk of bivalent vaccines becoming available? I have no idea what those are, Terry. The Mexican government has not said a single thing about new vaccines at any point in the conversation. We had our 3 shots. How many shots did we get? We had our 2 shots and the booster. And I know that a lot of people keep going back and forth to the United States and perhaps other countries to get additional vaccines. But no, the local government, for better or worse, has not said anything about any type of additional vaccines. There's another cue. The other factor regarding the positive tests is that are they vaxxed? Are the people vaccinated? I get it. Yes, again, there's a lot of factors that one should take into consideration when reading these headlines. And I invite you, like, for example, Albert says here, this COVID talk makes me kind of nervous about going to Nacho Daddy. Well, I can't blame you, but at the same time, Albert, I am going to remind you that we have this choice of knowing what we can do to take care of ourselves. And we also have the option of saying no to things that may seem dangerous or that may expose us to the virus. Do I personally think that COVID is a reason of concern when I go to see Amy? I personally don't. But again, the comfort area that each and every one of us has is a very personal thing. My only wish for all of us is to is to not go crazy and worry too much. So my wish for you, Albert, is to keep your mind open and just be comfortable with it if you can. Um, let's see. Dave suggests that COVID cases are highly underrated, as most people who have it now are those folks have also been vaxxed. Just think they have a cold. I would tend to agree with you, Dave. I would tend to agree that a lot of people, now that we know how it works and what it does and so forth and so on, I am sure that there are a lot of people that just either know they have it or they don't know they have it, and regardless, they choose. Hopefully, they choose to stay home and in isolation. Um, On the flip side, Harold reminds us he was released from Hospital Joya on Tuesday after a 4-day battle with COVID. Take COVID seriously again. You know, it happens. Um, let's see what else we have. There's that taco stand where all the raccoons hang out and people feed them. You know, it's been 21 years in Puerto Vallarta, and I've never been to that taqueria. It is actually not a taco stand. It's an actual restaurant. It's located right next to the estuary on Medina Asensio. And it's been on my list. It's been on my list. Um, Albert reminds us that Contempo is also part of the Friday art stuff. There is an opening on Galeria Contempo, which is across the street from Galeria Dante. And I must say, I did receive an invitation by Galeria Contempo as well. I just didn't put it up on today's news. As just as Galeria Dante has a wonderful newsletter, Contempo has a newsletter of their own. So if art is your thing, getting these newsletters and relying directly on the art galleries and their mailings may be a better way to stay connected with their activities than waiting for Facebook to send you a lovely notice. Ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Christy, who's a total expert in my book, says, thanks for the chat about the mapaches. They are looking for food, water, and shelter, so making those things unavailable will keep them at bay. There you go. There's a Q. There is an upper respiratory flu going around too, so please wear your masks. Absolutely a great suggestion. Dale clarifies the concert. The write-up suggests that they will have 2 live bands. This is good to know. Can someone please pass along the contact info for Nestor? Who the hell is Nestor? I don't know. So I don't know that I can help. But if anybody else knows who Nestor is and what's going on, please let us help Brian. Let's see what else we have. More conversation about COVID tests and this, that, and the other. Again, you know, the best way to find out is to go get tested and not take the quick 15-minute test. As I mentioned before, tests are readily available out there. So if you have a concern, you know, you will spend less money getting tested than an outing out in the city on any given evening, and you will not spread the bug, and you will know what to do with yourself. So just get it done. This is Coffee and Headlines for today. Thank you very much for joining me. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm already, my gears are moving for putting together what will be a more intense survey. I would really want to do a survey, a topic survey, one that will help us navigate Coffee and Headlines for the next few months. It is important to me, and I hope it is important to you. So I'll be working on this over the weekend, and hopefully we'll deploy a big survey of topics and direction for Coffee and Headlines. We've been doing fine, I think. You seem happy. I am happy, but I'm always curious as to where your mind and your heart is. So I thank you in advance for looking at that, and I thank you as always for being part of this wonderful community you've created. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you again hopefully tomorrow. Take care.